ClickOrlando.com and broadcasting live, you're watching News 6 at noon.
We lost $400,000 a year in state and federal funding.
Now at noon, local public media is asking the community to help fill the gap after funding for them was cut. We're going to have more on how you can help them out. Plus, the two men convicted in the infamous Xbox murders back in court today. Their lawyers trying to keep them off of death row. But we start with breaking news. The Lake County Sheriff's Office says a home in Claremont has been vandalized with an excavator. Deputies responded to the home around 7 o'clock this morning at Pine Island and Monte Vista Roads. Here's a live look at that home right now as we get some new images here. It looks like an excavator ran into the home multiple times, some serious damage, and that there was a message that appears to be from a woman to a man that was spray painted on the side of the home. We're told that an SUV was also destroyed in this, but when deputies arrived, that excavator was gone. Deputies say right now, Monte Vista Road is closed as you approach the home. We'll have an update for you on News 6 starting at 4 and online as soon as we get it at ClickOrlando.com. Also developing, the two men convicted in the infamous Deltona Xbox murders back in court today trying to convince a judge to spare their lives. Back in May, a jury recommended the death penalty for Jerron Hunter and Troy Victorino. Volusia County community correspondent Molly Reed has been following this trial for a while now, certainly this year. She joins us now live with the very latest. Molly.
Well, Justin, they just went to lunch, and again, we could be hearing from the men themselves today. Again, this is Troy Victorino and Jerron Hunter's last chance to try to persuade this judge to save their lives and not sentence them to death. Now, Hunter is here in the courtroom today. Victorino is actually joining by Zoom. Their defense teams are bringing in witnesses today. So far, Hunter's team has tried to show that he has a history of mental and learning issues. His team trying to argue that he was intimidated by Victorino into helping with the murders. Now, back in May, a jury recommended the death penalty. The two men are convicted of breaking into a Deltona home and beating 6 people to death with baseball bats and stabbing them back in 2004. Investigators say Victorino was squatting in one of the victims' houses, got kicked out, but left some items behind he was mad he had not gotten back, including an Xbox. They had to be resentenced this year because of state law changes about the death penalty the last time they were sentenced. Now, again, we just heard from 2 witnesses. They did just go to lunch, but we could be hearing from the men today, too. We'll keep you up to date here on air and online at ClickOrlando.com. In Volusia County, I'm Molly Reed, News 6.
All right, we'll check back in. Thank you, Molly. New at noon, Governor DeSantis, along with other state leaders, are at Alligator Alcatraz. They spent the morning doubling down on the conditions at the Immigration Center in the Everglades. They also revealed that removal flights are underway.
And so the flights are going. I think the cadence is going to increase. I think you're going to continue to see the numbers really go up dramatically. And then as there's demand, we can expand the footprint here to 3,000. And then we can do Camp Blanding. And I said we've always been ready, willing, and able to do that. I don't want it to be something where illegals are just being like stored there and then just kind of sitting. I want it to be where illegals are here, there's an aggressive processing and an aggressive deportation schedule.
Now, there have already been at least 2 flights from Alligator Alcatraz with up to 100 deportations from the U.S. State leaders also say on-site legal representation will be available starting on Monday. All right, turning to your weather, and a lot to talk about in the weather department. Big time heat on the way this weekend. This is a great place to enjoy the heat. Daytona Beach looking pretty packed on this Friday. Let's get right over to Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos with a look at that weekend forecast. Candace.
Man, scorcher, sweltering, however you want to describe this weekend, that's what we were expecting. Cape Canaveral right now, you can see not a cloud in sight, and that's because the sea breeze has already pushed a little further inland. So temperatures right now along the Space Coast currently at 88. We're nearing 90 degrees already there in Orlando. Now, remember, we talked about it this morning that there was going to be a little bit of rain in the forecast. It wasn't going to be super dry yet, and here's the rain starting up along that sea breeze right along 95 there in Brevard County. Will continue to make its way more towards the north and west, approaching areas of Christmas in the next couple minutes. If it does hold, we'll be clipping parts of far eastern Seminole County within the next hour. Now, rain chances again today, low along the coast. I think for the most part, your rain chances are done with by this point, and rain coverage up to about 30 to 40% inland. Right now, we're in those low 90s. Already feels like 104 degrees in Cape Canaveral, there in Melbourne, in and around Vieira, feeling like 100 degrees, and we're going to continue to heat up. And that's not only for today, but throughout the rest of the weekend. Could be flirting with records for tomorrow. Feeling close to 100 degrees, though, as we head into Sunday and Monday. But again, the heat indices, that's going to be the real dangerous kind of factor in the forecast. We'll be breaking down everything you need to know to plan out your weekend coming up in just a little bit.
Thank you, Candace. A new effort by the White House to deal with homelessness seeks to make major changes to how cities and states deal with the growing problem. Earlier this month, a News 6 investigation found Central Florida spent millions to house homeless people in the county jail. As News 6's Stephanie Rodriguez reports, some are concerned the new direction from D.C. could increase this cost even more.
The order directs Attorney General Pam Bondi to reverse rules that limit municipalities' abilities to relocate homeless people. It also redirects federal resources so affected homeless people are transferred to facilities for rehabilitation and substance abuse. The order comes just a month after the Supreme Court ruled in favor of an Oregon city that ticketed homeless people for sleeping outside. We do have a similar law right here in Florida about public camping that went into effect on January 1st. Earlier this month, News 6 did an investigation into the cost of that law in Orlando. We found that since January, 74 arrests have been made for public camping, and though their stays in jail varied, each day that they were in custody cost taxpayers $144. A report from the Mayor's Jail Oversight Committee found that treating inmates in the jail who are homeless and have a severe persistent mental illness is costing Orange County over $4.5 million. In the studio, Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
A Central Florida man accused of beating an alligator to death with a golf club has been arrested. FWC says 28-year-old Hunter Crumbo admitted to catching the gator from a canal in Montverde and hitting it repeatedly. Neighbors later found the dismembered carcass dumped near a home off Bay Avenue. Crumbo, who's been arrested several times in Lake County, is now facing a felony charge for killing or injuring an alligator without permission. Officers say he was also previously busted for digging up artifacts at a preserve earlier this year. Well, President Trump is headed to Scotland as questions about the handling of the Jeffrey Epstein files hang over the administration. Convicted sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell is set to meet with the DOJ's second highest ranking official again today. CBS's Natalie Brand reports from the White House.
As President Trump left the White House for Scotland this morning, he did not want to talk about the Jeffrey Epstein files.
People should really focus on how well the country's doing.
As his DOJ interviews Epstein co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell for a second day.
Would you consider a pardon or a commutation for Ghislaine Maxwell if she's cooperating?
It's something I haven't thought about.
The meetings with Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche are taking place in Tallahassee, Florida, where Maxwell is serving time for her conviction of luring and grooming teenage girls for sexual abuse. Attorney David Marcus says he's hoping for another productive day.
You know, we're grateful for this opportunity to finally be able to say what really happened, and that's what we're going to do yesterday and today.
The new interview with Maxwell comes as the administration is facing continued pressure, including by even some members of the president's own party, to release more information related to the case.
We want full transparency. We want everybody who is involved in any way with the Epstein evils, let's call it what it was, to be brought to justice.
President Trump this week has tried to change the subject, even making a rare trip Thursday to the Federal Reserve's headquarters as the administration has raised questions about the cost of its ongoing renovations.
So the 2.7 is now 3.1.
I'm not aware of that.
Despite squabbling over numbers, President Trump said he had a good meeting with Fed Chair Jerome Powell.
I think he's going to start recommending lower rates.
The president also reiterated Thursday that he does not plan to fire Powell. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
$400,000, that's how much the president of Central Florida Public Media says the station has lost in federal and state funding this year. Yesterday, we told you President Trump signed off on a bill that cancels $9 billion for public broadcasting and foreign aid. In response, Central Florida's public stations are asking for community support. Now, today, our local NPR affiliate is hosting a fundraising event. It lasts until 6 o'clock. NPR has two stations in the area, one serving Orlando, the other in the Villages. We spoke to the president and general manager of Central Florida Public Media about how the community can help them out.
We're here to let you know that if you're already giving to Central Florida Public Media, you can double your donation, which is what many people have done. And if you're not already giving, it's a great time to start a monthly giving membership. If everybody who listened and read our content donated at least $10 a month, that funding gap would be eliminated immediately.
Central Florida's PBS station is also hosting a fund drive. It's wrapping up today. So far, the station has received more than $100,000 in donations. They hope to have another $50,000 by the end of the event. And if you're interested in donating online for both stations, we have links to that on our website. Just head to clickorlando.com. This morning, NASA's SpaceX Crew 10 talked about their return to Earth. Back in March, the 4 astronauts launched on board a Dragon spacecraft atop a Falcon 9 rocket. At the space station, the crew took part in experiments, including testing existing hardware for pharmaceutical production in space and how cells sense gravity.
The protein crystals that we've grown on space station have had a direct impact on research on the ground. When I get back home, I'm kind of looking forward to doing nothing for a couple of days.
Don't blame them there. Once Crew 11 arrives, Crew 10 will leave the station where their splashdown site is off the coast of California. Well, of course, the weekend's almost here, and if you're looking for something to do, we have you covered. Coming up, meteorologist Michelle Morgan has this weekend's 6 things to do, including a prehistoric event at a local theater.
Introducing the new $25 million Gold Rush Multiplier Scratch-Off from the Florida Lottery.
I'm meteorologist Michelle Morgan. It is going to be a hot one this weekend across Central Florida. Now, if you're trying to beat the heat, I've got 6 cool events to check out. First up on my 6 things to do, a dino-themed movie and more at the Indian Theater in Maitland. Jimmy Waldron, a paleontologist and the executive director of the film Why Dinosaurs that shows on Sunday, shares more.
It's going to be a full VIP event. We're going to have a red carpet. We're going to have some raptors and some dinosaurs out here that you get a chance to meet and greet with. We're going to have real fossils on display. So you're going to have a miniature museum here in the lobby. You're going to get a chance to actually see and experience and touch some real dinosaur bones and meet some really cool people and bring your burning dinosaur questions because we want to answer them.
The show starts at 11 a.m. and tickets are $12.50. Repticon going on all weekend at the Central Florida Fair starting 9 a.m. Saturday and 10 a.m. on Sunday. See live animals and shop pets and products. Join the Vegan Food Festival on Saturday from 2 to 8 p.m. at Wall Street in Orlando. Enjoy top vegan eats. Wine Walk on Flagler Avenue kicks off on Saturday at 1 p.m. in New Smyrna Beach. $30 passports includes 20 tastings and keepsake glasses. Sea Turtle Education Day starts at 10 a.m. on Saturday at Sandpoint Park in Titusville. It's a free family-friendly event celebrating Florida's sea turtles. On Sunday, check out Family Fun and Wellness Day at the Wildwood Community Center starting at 3 p.m. Come have fun and embrace a healthier lifestyle. Want to share a big event that's happening this weekend? Let me know on our News 6 app or clickorlando.com. Just click contact us.
All right, got some good events. I'm going to go with the indoor event or the cruise event. If you're lucky enough to hit that cruise line and get on out of here. Here's a live look. Launch Credit Union, Port Canaveral. It's going to be really hot this weekend. Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos here now. So, I mean, we're used to it here in Florida, Candace, but it's going to be just another layer of that, it seems.
When the weather gets cold, we're babies, right? I get it. But here in Central Florida, we're used to the heat. This is not a big deal, right? Well, yes, but no. We're still talking about dangerous heat levels in the forecast. This is not the usual summertime weekend temperature-wise here in Central Florida. We're going to be talking about heat levels getting up to heat advisory, possible extreme heat advisories still likely in the forecast. So let's talk about the radar right now. Today's kind of that transitional day, right, where it's not as soggy as it has been, but still just enough rain, a little more rain than what we're going to be seeing this weekend. So right now we are picking up some scattered showers throughout Christmas, and that's going to continue to kind of move in out of Port St. John, Titusville, Chuliota. These areas here will be seeing kind of the first round of some of that rain. But throughout the day, we have plenty of heating, still just enough moisture to produce a little more rain in the forecast. But right now, the numbers you see here in blue are the actual temperatures. This is what the thermometer is reading outside right now. 89 in Sanford, 90 in Orlando, 89 in Leesburg. But then the little orange-red temperatures there, those are the feels like temperatures. Right now it feels like 100 degrees from Daytona all the way down through Mico, feeling like 106 in Titusville, feeling like 100 already for you guys in Marion County. But now let's check on that hour-by-hour forecast for your Friday.
Sponsored by Strata Air Conditioning and Heating. AC emergency, you ought to call Strata.
So temperatures are going to heat up another 4 or 5 degrees up to about 94. That 40% chance of rain continuing to work its way through Central Florida will linger as we head into the evening hours. You can see that same little bulk of rain that we're watching right now over parts of northern Brevard County, far eastern Orange will continue to shift throughout 3, 4 o'clock across more of our inland zones, redeveloping along I-4, continuing its trek out towards the west over Lake Mary and Sumter County as the sun goes down. After that, the rain chances are pretty much done with as we're going to be tapping into all that dry air. You can see it there in our water vapor imagery. Big ridge of high pressure, and that's really going to take over. And as it does so, it's going to pull all that dry air, kind of zapping out the rain chances. And because of that, we won't have anything to cool us down. We don't have the rain to cool us down. We don't have the sea breezes to cool us down. So that's going to give us plenty of time to heat up. So this is what the weekend looks like. Certainly looks to be the hottest weekend of the year so far. 97 will be your high Saturday and Sunday. Could get close to a record in Orlando on Saturday, a little farther away from records there on Sunday. Now, I do also want to stress that some models get us a little hotter than this. So there will be that opportunity for even us to get close to near 100 degrees in some locations. While it's rare, it's not completely out of the picture. Beach forecast is one of the many things people might be doing to enjoy or at least embrace this heat. Just making sure that you're staying hydrated, you're taking those cooling breaks in the water. Rip current risk, though, still in that low range. But again, we are used to this heat. I get it. We are, both Justin and I are Floridians through and through. We're used to this heat, but again, we're talking about extreme heat risk across the area. So making sure you're paying attention to your body, checking in on those loved ones who might be a bit more prone to these heat illnesses, heat strokes and heat exhaustion and whatnot. But again, we're looking like we'll get back to near normal, more of a typical setup though by the middle part of next week. Justin.
Thank you, Candace. Well, the FCC just cleared the way for 2 major media companies to become one. Coming up, how much the deal is worth and what conditions were met in order to get the approval. You're watching News 6 at noon. Keep it right here. Live look over Lake Dora. We'll be right back. The Trump administration has officially signed off on a blockbuster media merger that will reshape Hollywood and network news. The FCC approved Skydance Media's $8 billion takeover of Paramount Global, clearing the way for the deal to close within weeks. The 2-to-1 vote was along party lines after months of controversy. Skydance CEO David Ellison pledged to add a watchdog at CBS and to not introduce new DEI policies. Now, these are key conditions for winning support from FCC Chair Brendan Carr. Carr praised the move, saying it will help restore trust in CBS and ensure more ideological diversity in programming. We'll take a break from those summer reruns and try out the all-new primetime schedule on News 6 Plus. Matt and Ginger have a new take on the day's news on News 6 tonight. That starts at 9 o'clock. Go in depth as we track the topics and answer your weather questions as well. The tropics, that is, with meteorologist Jonathan Kegas at 9:30, and then watch the late news an hour earlier. It's all tonight on News 6 Plus. Download our free streaming app. Search WKMG in your smart TV's app store. It's also available on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV. News 6 at noon. We'll be right back. All right, a big update at noon. Lake Mary Little League softball is heading to the Little League World Series. They dominated Virginia earlier this morning, 8-1 to win the Southeast Regional. Addison Bono hit a 2-run home run in the first. By the way, her cousin was on the Lake Mary Little League team last year. The girls' next game is August 3rd in Greenville, North Carolina. They will be playing the winners of the Northwest Regional, either Washington State or Oregon. So something in the water in Lake Mary, it appears, Candace.
I love that. I mean, listen, and at the end of the day, we have great weather all year round for baseball, right?
That's true.
All right, let's talk about the weather forecast. We're going to be out on the ball fields theme parks, beaches, wherever you're going to be outside, just making sure that you're playing it safe. We have a lot of heat, extensive heat in the forecast all weekend long.
If you feel tingling in your fingers, get inside.
Get inside.
As someone who's dealt with that before, not good. Have a good one.